Fast Time at Richmond High is like, we going to the abortion clinic real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't.
They ain't going to no abortion clinic in Clueless, okay?
No.
Welcome to another week of Token. I am Donna, and what's your name?
I am Steven.
And Steven, what is Token?
Token is the place where not every Black person is clueless.
Still works. It was good. It still worked. So this week we did one of my favorite movies. Applause inserted here. Clueless. Clueless is a film done, I believe, in 1995. It literally was my obsession forever. Even when we rewatched it, I rewatched it. When I rewatched it, I literally was saying all the lines of the movie.
Yeah, me too.
Were you? Oh my God, are you a Clueless fan too?
I used to watch Clueless so many times when it came out that I knew every word to the whole thing. It was one of the defining movies of our generation, I think, right?
Steven, I didn't know you were a Clueless fan. I guess I should have thought that. I guess because you're a guy. I know every girl I know that's like around my age, like knows Clueless, knows all the lines and stuff. And listen, that film still doesn't disappoint for me.
No, it's still good. You put it on, it's still funny. It still works really well. It's still, it's super quotable, right? There's so many quotables in this.
So what's the synopsis for Clueless? For people who haven't seen it, if you haven't seen it, you suck. No, you don't suck. You just need to go see it ASAP.
If you haven't seen it, get it together.
But what is Clueless?
Clueless is about a basically spoiled rich Beverly Hills girl whose life is kind of given a new mission when a new girl shows up at her school, and she decides to kind of make her over and teach her how to be as cool as she is. And along the way, she realizes that she's been a little clueless about certain aspects of her life, including just her general direction and her love life.
So you've forgotten the most important thing about Clueless. Clueless isn't it a retelling of
Emma,
right?
Yeah. A retelling of Jane Austen's novel Emma.
Yeah. Clueless is amazing. Yeah. It was written and directed by Amy Heckerling, who, if you don't know her, you should know her because she's literally made another movie that was a movie of a generation called Fast Times at Richmond High.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that, go see that. But like she's that girl.
And she did Look Who's Talking.
Yes. She's who that is.
She was in the 90s. She was, and Fast Times at Richmond was like, I think 80s, right? But
Fast Times at Richmond High is 82.
Yeah. So she was working for a good minute, had some big culturally defining films under her belt.
Yeah. So watching Clueless, we're going to focus on the Black characters at least. And the tokens here that I saw were Dionne and Murray. And then also his friend, what's his friend's name? Who's like, it's the bomb.
It's the bomb.
What's his name? Lawrence. It's the bomb.
It's the bomb. Who actually, Clueless went on to be a TV show, and his role is actually way bigger in the TV show. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Did you ever see the TV show?
I saw a couple episodes, not a lot. Like it was on, that was back when you still had to watch stuff when it was airing on TV. Like you couldn't just stream it. So yeah, I could never catch it. And so I saw maybe 2 episodes.
Yeah, I think I've seen like a season or 2. But let's focus in on this movie. So Dionne is played by Stacy.
The infamous Stacy Dash.
Stacy Dash, love her, hate her. And I know for both reasons, but what you can't deny is that she's absolutely gorgeous and she absolutely killed the role of Dionne. Like she plays Dionne to a T. Like I can't, anytime she does something that I'm just like, oh, I'm just always like, I still love you though. You're like Dionne. I love you.
It's hard, man. It's love, hate. Because Dionne, she did, that is the pivotal role for her. Like Dionne, she was Dionne and did it extremely well, like very, very well. Like I was in love with Stacey Dash for probably 10 years after I saw Clueless. Like I saw her at South by one time and my heart skipped like 10 beats.
Oh my gosh, you did? How? Where?
Walking towards the W. I got out. I was walking. I was going the same place for some type of South by party. And I saw her get out of a cab going towards it, and my jaw dropped. I was like about to have a heart attack.
She is gorgeous in person as she is on TV.
She is. She's short, but other than that, she looks exactly the same.
I love Stacey.
Yeah.
Just don't agree with everything she's doing, but I do love her.
I think she lost her marbles, but I'm the same. I was in love with Stacey forever, ever.
So I think, because I was thinking, I was like, why is it that like, especially like, I know like other Black girls, like Clueless was like our movie too. And I'm like, it's because of how they portrayed Dionne in this, how they portrayed, like overall it's a great film, but like Dionne's portrayed, like she's not second fiddle, right? Like she's not the character you don't want to be. Like
no,
she's not like you be Dionne. No. Like you want to be Dionne. Like Dionne is that chick. She's named after Dionne Warwick, a Black singer. Come on.
Yeah. They're both named after singers who are now doing infomercials.
Exactly. And she just had, like, I was watching this, I was like, her character has her own storyline. She has her own brain, has her own thoughts, her own opinions. Like she has agency. She don't mind telling you how she feels. Like she'll react to the main character and like tell her like when they're on the phone call and she's talking to her, she makes the quick phone call and she tells Cher that what Brittany Murphy's character, what's her name? Ty.
Yeah.
That Ty's picture is in one of the guys' lockers. Like you see Cher start talking to Ty and she leaves kind of Dionne on the pause and Dionne goes, hello, you hear me talking?
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
And it's not like an angry Black girl way or anything. It's just like, hello, respect. Like I just overall was like, wow, like no one is a stereotype in this. Even the minority characters aren't stereotypes. They have nuance. They have even down to like the maid, right? Lucy, who has one scene, her maid Lucy, with a heavy ass accent.
I am not a Mexican.
Exactly. Yeah. The girl tells her, I don't speak Mexican. First of all, she wasn't speaking Spanish. Her accent was just heavy as hell.
She said you were going to get Jose to do it.
He your garden, and why you don't tell him?
Lucy, you know I don't speak Mexican.
I'm not a Mexican.
Great. What was that all about?
Lucy's from El Salvador.
And they're like, and the guy's like,
he's like,
she's from El Salvador. What? It's just every character has like, it felt like they had agency and it wasn't just like, oh, we're all here for this white girl story.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100%. We're not all here for this white girl story, right?
Yeah, it was cool.
Her and these zany group of people that she surrounds herself with, or that are in her life, but they all had their own things going on, their own lives to live, and their own drives to like get what they needed done, right? Dionne was trying to get her relationship with Murray corrected and on the right course, right? Even, which is like literally, I think their relationship itself was pretty much perfectly summarized by that car driving scene where she was learning to drive on the highway. Like that's their relationship basically.
That scene makes me laugh out loud. That's one of the best scenes in the movie.
I'm here with you. Whatever you do, keep your hands off the wheel at all times.
It is every time. But they did a good job, even with like the dialogue, right? Dionne speaks just like Cher, like they're clearly cut from the same cloth, even though they may have two different backgrounds. They both are from very wealthy families in Beverly Hills, and they both dress very wealthy and speak like spoiled, wealthy Beverly Hills girls, right? With very trendy and very of the day, and even Murray, Murray's definitely the hip hop dude, right?
Murray, I have asked you repeatedly not to call me woman.
Excuse me, Miss Dionne.
Thank you.
Okay, but street slang is an increasingly valid form of expression. Most of the feminine pronouns do have mocking, but not necessarily misogynistic undertone.
Like he's still really smart, right?
Yeah,
he has to educate them on stuff.
Yeah, he didn't feel like he was out of place. He just felt he just felt like the Black dude that grew up in like the Beverly Hills. Like he literally feels like, you know, where they have those shows where it shows like Run DMC sons and them stuff. Like they have a
Yeah,
hip hop
yeah. Run's
connection.
house.
Yeah. These kids they have hip hop connection, right? But like they're also like they grow up in these very really good schools and they're wealthy. Like it played both of it. It was like they're black, but they're not black denying, and they don't come off like they don't, you know, they were just great. They were great. I never felt like they were not black characters. And I never felt like they didn't belong in the environment they were in. They weren't like stereotypes of like what it means to be black, you know? Every one of them was able to show anger, was able to show comedy, was able, like they were full people.
Yeah. And able to show their blackness while still existing in this very, very white space, right?
Right. I mean, so I will say they do diversity and they do a little bit of lazy diversity. Like the main cast is all white except Dionne and Murray. But then they have like their kind of second player roles. Like they have the Asian girl. I forgot her name. Is it like, it's like Sunny, or I forgot her name, but I
cannot remember.
But she only has like a couple of lines, but they have her. A lot of times at the school background, it'll be like very like mixed with like not only like different races, but they also do like international mixes, right? Persian, like Indian and stuff like that.
And the Persian crew. Yeah.
It's very reflective of California, right? Like California is very diverse. You know, some things you can look in the background and be like, well, this looks really white. But it's like considering, you know, where they are, I feel like they really tried to kind of capture the diversity of what this neighborhood would look like. Like the rich people aren't just white people. The rich people here are all these different communities. Like they have access to this just like you, especially in California.
Yeah. And I thought they did a good job. There's Don LaFaison, right? Who's Murray.
Don LaFaison?
Faison.
Faison? Is it Faison?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it is Faison. I've always said Faison too. I don't know why I just said Faison, but I don't know.
Now I'm curious. Okay, keep on going though.
They've got him, his boy Lawrence, right? And then there's another black dude in his crew, like when they show him kind of hanging out on the quad or whatever. And then there's like that teacher. I don't remember even recognizing that was a black guy before. The teacher that brings in Ty. And it's like, hey girls, this is your new student Ty, when they're playing tennis.
I knew that.
He just like fades into the background. Like he literally just comes in with his little stash. He's dressed very 90s, like very 90s buttoned up black dude. Ty. He looks like a principal or something. He brings her in, introduces her, and then just like dips. You never see him again. But they had a pretty well diverse like secondary team of actors here. And you really do see the tokens in here really get to stand on their own and shine, which I still love to this day.
And it made me think of films we've previewed before, and like the difference between Clueless and let's say 10 Things I Hate About You, right? Mm-hmm. Gabrielle Union's character in that never had her own life.
No.
She never had her own life. Her life was the main character's life. And even when she makes the decision, it's just to have the main character's life, to be the popular girl also. Then even going back to Bridesmaids. So this is what Bridesmaids, I wish Bridesmaid had that they have in this, is that you see Dionne's character have her moments to be her, to like show herself as an actor, to show why her character is interesting. You don't really have that in Bridesmaids. And like you have the highway scene, you get to see Dionne be the center of attention with Murray. You have the scene at the party when he's getting his hair shaved and her reacting to it. And like you even have Cher's main character talk about like the background to Dionne's story. You even have Cher ask Dionne advice. Like you see this character has agency, has is respected, is that girl.
Yeah. She's even asking Ty for sex advice, right? Like she shows that she's not just like dedicated to Cher and as her sidekick, right? She's her own person.
That's a good
going
point.
Through the story. She, when she's threatening to call Murray's mom, like he gets up, he's like, no, don't call my mom. Don't call my mom. Like, like it's very realistic for especially black teens that age. because it comes down to it, you call somebody's mama, it's game over. Like,
It's so good. It's so good. And then like living in their blackness, she has braids the whole movie.
she does. She has
braids.
she does, and she's even pulling out somebody else's cheap Kmart hair extension.
Perhaps you can explain how this cheap Kmart hair extension got into the backseat of your
I
car.
don't know where that came from. That looks like one of your little stringy something or another.
She's right.
Girl, and that was, you're not girl, but I have a bad
It's fine.
bad habit of saying girl to men.
It's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I once was in like at my graduate program, I was working on my script and I had like my mentor or like my guidance on like the script, one of my professors. And we were having a meeting and I was talking to him and I was like, girl, and I saw myself do it. And I tried to like cover it up, and like his face, I could tell it registered because he goes, did you just call me girl? And I was like, yeah. He's like, that's so funny. Like when I was younger, people used to think I was a girl because my hair was long when I was a kid. And I was like,
Interesting.
yeah.
That is funny.
He was like amused by me calling him girl.
Yeah,
it was funny.
I get amused by it. If a woman's calling me girl, I just see it as a term of endearment. Because to me, you only say that when you're really comfortable enough to be talking to somebody like real, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not tripping.
I got real comfortable and I was like, yeah, so sorry, girl. But it was funny because it even like, let's talk about the braid. There are different types of braids. I've had bad braids and I had good braids. She got good braids. Dionne has put money in them braids. Them braids cost her about $1,000. $1,000 easily. Best hair. She wants all the micros with it. Like it's down to her butt. Like she paid that money. And whoever that hair that she found, I'm just like, I'm so curious of like who was like, we should have like her, because that's such a very black specific thing to be able to tell braids.
And that's what I was gonna say. Like a very culturally black specific thing to know, to even drop that polyester is an option for fake hair, right? So for her to say that, you gotta already kind of know what that is, right? What that means. Like, oh, cheap Kmart hair extension, polyester. Like it's just subtle stuff like that provides that depth to her character, right? To show that she's really like a real person, a real black person.
Yeah, it was. And that braid, I've seen them braids in people's heads. Shoot, I've seen that braid in my head. And I was like, yeah, you right, girl. It's cheap. I remember once I had
you right.
It's cheap. You right. It's cheap. I once had a sew-in that looked good until you looked at the top of it where the closure was. Like it was open on, but I'm pretty tall.
Yeah. So
not many people could see the top of my head, but I was talking to this guy once who was like way taller than me, and all I could think was, I know he can see the side of my head. It was just opened. I was just so open, but like there's like I say, there's
the gamut of it. There's a whole
there's different. So that was just like such a fun moment. And her storyline basically throughout this is either her with Cher or her and her situation with her boyfriend, or her boyfriend and Cher's there. Like the scenes that were hers, if Cher was there, which she normally was, Cher was a back seat about it too.
Yeah, it's a good point. When it's Dionne and Murray, Cher's actually the third wheel.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. She doesn't take
really
the
funny.
scene. It's not about her.
And then when it's Cher, Dionne, and Ty, Dionne is very much like in control of her role within that group, right? She's not taking Dionne's not. It's much more when it's Dionne, Cher, and Ty. It's much more of like a two-hander with Ty as a third wheel, like Dionne and Cher are like two sides of the same coin. And they both kind of have like an equal say in the discussion and the planning and everything.
So sweet. Oh, don't forget to sign up for the environmental fair.
Not a total Betty, but a vast improvement.
Well, we did our best. We got to book if we're going to make it to PE.
Which honestly was really great because it looks like these are real friends. These are two girls that are really like BFFs, and they're just going to take over the world together, right?
It felt real. The friendship felt real.
Yeah, it did. It really did. And that's why I think why the movie holds up so well, because they all seem like genuinely real friends and real teenagers. despite how vapid or shallow like they may seem on the surface, right?
I think, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
I think what's good about this too is that I think why this movie holds up so well. One, it's a really well done script. And it's funny because this is the first time watching that I actually saw the script breakdown. I don't want to talk about it too much because I know we're different focus, but as a scripty, it's the breakdown is the first quarter of the movie is her with her grades that moves her to, she has the line, they have a very distinct line. It goes, I want to do more good things. That's when you introduce the storyline of Ty. Then she goes, Ty is sad. She needs a guy. Then it brings us to the storyline of Christian coming in. I noticed watching it this time, I was like, I distinctly see how the story is like moving and how they're moving it through. Like, it's like little vignettes in a way, all connected.
Yeah. I was trying to break it down myself. Just from a script perspective, I know it's the same thing. As soon as like her life is normal and everything's perfect, and then she realizes she wants to do something good because her grades are suffering. So she goes about trying to fix the teachers together, and then Ty comes in and she goes about trying to fix Ty, and then the James Dean dude comes in, and she realizes she needs to fix herself, and then she goes through that path, right?
Then it's her lowest moment. It's very for script. Her lowest moment is when Dionne, homegirl doesn't be her friend anymore. She calls her a virgin who can't drive. Relatable. So she doesn't be her friend anymore. Everyone's mad at her. Low point. Then like you said, she has the awakening. She's like, I need to change internally myself. Then you see her build herself up. She makes amends to people. Also, I just a little thing they point out when we talked about the character Lucy and how I feel like this script doesn't I feel like this script respects human beings. And I say that for a couple of reasons, but one thing is that she says that she apologized to Lucy. Remember when she's taking her car test, she's like, I still feel awful. After she called Lucy Mexican, she's like, I still apologize to her. Yeah. And it's like, yo, this film got that white girl together. It said, first of all, Lucy is not Mexican. Second of all, you need to apologize to her. Lucy was not having her shit in that. Lucy was like,
no,
you could tell Lucy worked at that house forever.
She's like, why don't you, he's the gardener. Why don't you ask him?
Lucy's like, hold up, this is my job. You do your job. Like, and I think that's another reason. So the human respecting and like going into like the non-stereotyping of the script, like every character was nuanced. So even like Christian, right? Christian's gay, and it's obvious Christian's gay. They say he's gay. You see Christian like flirting with men. You see him like dancing with men, but never is Christian stereotype of what it means to be a gay man.
Right.
Like no one can go back and look at this and be like, oh, this is cringy to look at this depiction of a gay man. You can't.
Yeah.
It's not cringy at all. And like even like Christian's like identity in this is like, yes, he's gay, but it's not like the center point of him as a character. The only reason why it's like a big thing is because she likes him. She thinks that this guy, she can make him her boyfriend. It's like, girl, no, he's gay. And it's like, oh. And then when he's gay and she finds out, she's like, okay, well, Christian and me are really good friends. Like Christian's never a stereotype. He likes music. He likes to dance. He's really good. He has really good style. Like he's a good person.
And he defends the girls at the mall with Ty. Like he's ready to like throw down over these two idiots, you know?
He's a real dude. Like he's a full person.
Yeah.
He's not just a gay stereotype. No one's just a black stereotype. And even, the Asian girl in this who doesn't have a lot of lines, I want to know her name because I don't want to call her the Asian girl. I believe her name was like Sunny. But even for her, she doesn't have a lot of lines, but when she does, like she fits in with everyone else. Like she's, there's actually two Asian girls in this. There's
Summer. I think she's Summer.
But anyway, no one's a stereotype. Everyone feels like they should be there. Everyone is, no one feels like they're denying like how they look. And like everyone's blatantly looking like how they look like. Everyone's either blatantly, she looks Asian, like she's not like she doesn't white pass Asian. The black people look like black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gonna age super well. Like there's nothing in it that, for me, I didn't see anything. Did you see any cringe moments? I didn't.
Well, I mean, like um like the technology and stuff definitely ages, but it also just kind of helps place the movie with the time, right?
Yeah.
I think the most cringy stuff I found was probably some of the dialogue that they gave Murray, like when he calls him a cake boy or whatever, right? Your man's a cake boy, and you're like,
He
what?
talks.
And yeah, he's like straight hip hop, like urban slang, and but otherwise, like most of the slang dialogue, they said that 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 the director that she actually went and sat in on high schools and listened to the way the kids talked,
Oh my gosh, I love it.
and was able to and encourage the kids to like the actors themselves to bring in dialogue and language that they knew of that existed already to make it more authentic and real. And I thought I was like, wow, okay, that makes even more sense. And so much of that, I think the scenes with the whole gun to the when she's getting held at gunpoint scene apparently was based on a real story that she heard about a friend's husband who had an Armani suit that she made him wear because he dressed like trash, and he got held at gunpoint. It was like, oh, but this is Armani. Are you serious? Get on the ground. This is Armani. So like, and I guess the whole Virgin Who Can't Drive is based on the director herself too, because she said that was her in high school, and that was like the worst worst thing that anybody could call her. And so much of it is pulled from reality, and I guess that's why it also feels so much more real and authentic too.
It's so good. It's very distinct. I think what's great about Clueless and what's crazy is that like Fast Times at Richmond High feels, I don't think she directed Fast Times. I think she just wrote Fast Times.
She wrote it, yeah.
Yeah, but both of those college settings are very distinct, but yet still like relatable. You know what I mean? Like because she keeps it so like they're very distinct. Clueless is known for like the whatever, like the look of all the kids, the style. It's very much like she put her imprint on how the film looked and how these kids like were presented in this world. And yes, it's like dated in the sense of like some of the phones and stuff, but there's also just a very timeless feeling about the film. And I would say that's the same as like Fast Times at Richmond High. I feel like Fast Times at Richmond High is a more realistic. I don't know what the word is, realistic. Clueless is more stylized than Fast Times at Richmond High. Fast Times at Richmond High definitely has stylized stuff, but Fast Times at Richmond High get like real. Fast Times at Richmond High is like we go into the abortion clinic real.
Yeah.
You know
They don't.
They ain't going to no abortion clinic in Clueless, okay?
No.
Yeah.
They can probably all afford birth control and stuff. Plus, also half of them are virgins apparently. So, you know.
Yeah, that was cool too. It's like when it came to like the sexual, like it was very realistic. Like not everyone was having sex. Some people were dabbling in it. Some people weren't. Like even like down to what is his name? What did he play? The skater boy. What's his name? Travis.
Oh, yeah. God, what's that actor's name? He Breckin Meyer. Yeah, he always plays those kind of characters too.
He's fun in this. He's like, I'm just now. It's funny because you watch it when you're younger, you don't get things, and now like watching it, like I get it. Like when he was talking about being in 12 steps, I had no idea what that meant.
We're in this club and they have all these steps. And it's like
12?
Yeah, 12. How'd you know?
Wild guess.
Yeah. You don't.
And then I realized why he was giving her his bongs, because he doesn't smoke weed anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it. I was like, oh, he's getting off that marijuana. But I didn't know. I had no idea.
Well, it's funny because Cher and Dionne didn't know when Ty showed up and was like, any way I can get some herb? And they're like, well, lunch is coming soon. They've got a bunch of teas and Cokes and stuff. And she's like, oh, you guys have Cokes here? They're like, yeah. They went over their heads too.
Yeah. No, I mean, overall, I think if you had to rate Clueless, do we do the 1 to 10 system or 1 to 5?
I don't remember, but let's do 10. I think
Let's do
that
1 to 10. 1 to
allows for more
10.
nuance.
10 is like the most amazing film you've ever seen in your complete life. Your head's blown off your body.
Oh,
Oh.
all right.
1 is, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. I wish I could pull my eyebrows off my face and my eyeballs. I keep on trying to say eyeballs, but I can't do it. Eyeballs out of my head.
Eyeballs.
Eyeballs. What do you give it?
I give it a 9. Like, I love Clueless. It's classic. I've watched it more times than I can count now at this point. Still remember every line. The characters were great. If 10 is like the best movie I've ever seen, most favorite movie of my whole life, I'll give it a 9 then, because it's up there. I can watch it a million times over.
So Clueless is one of the films that made me want to do film. So I got to give it a 10. It is one of the films that made me do with film. It's Clueless and Scream. For me, those were the two. Yeah, those are the 2 movies I saw, and I was like, I want to make movies. Scream was really when it like hit me. And that was like middle school, and Clueless I saw when I was like 9 or like 8, and I was just so obsessed with it. I loved it. I love the script. It's an easy watch. But yeah, I think I didn't really have much. I don't have any complaints. I thought it was done well. I just like the nuance. Like Dionne she's like funny in her own sense. Like she's not like a comedic relief type of girl, but like her humors and her like just who she is.
Yeah, it's her personality.
It's her personality. Like when Cher's like, oh, would you tell me? I forgot what she said. She's like, would you tell me if I was a jerk or something like that? And Dionne's like, no, not to your face.
Yeah, yeah, but with a straight face though. She says it with a straight face.
It's hilarious. And she's not a mean person. Like she's a kind girl. She's caring, but she stands up for herself.
Straightforward, yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't have there's no fear of the stereotype of angry Black woman. And she shows a lot of like anger, but she's like not that chick. She just don't take no shit.
No, yeah, she doesn't take any shit.
She doesn't take any shit. And it's all like, there's never like any point where she's quote unquote angry that it's not justified. It's a little dramatic, but she's a dramatic girl, but it's never not justified. Like she found that Kmart hair. Of course she's going to be upset at her boyfriend for like having some random girl's hair. That's relatable. He's shaving her head and she doesn't like it. Like it, they're kids. It looks bad. Like it's dramatic, but it's relatable. Like you see her get upset. You see her be vulnerable when they're on the highway and she's scared. Yeah, I just love it. I love it. I want to give a special shout out though. I want to give a special shout out to the man at the house party, the Black man at the house party wearing the Cat in the hat.
Oh gosh, those Cat in the Hat.
That big long red and white hat, and he's dancing with Amber.
Yes.
And his dance, he was dancing so hard.
He was dancing. I rewound it just to see that hat again. I was like, oh man.
He's dancing so hard. Every time they went to him, he had that shoulder thing. He was hitting that shoulder.
Hi.
I hope I find it online just to be able to put it in here, because that shoulder shrug, he was killing it. He killed it.
He was working hard for that scene, hard for that dance.
Do you have any other thoughts about the movie? Anything you want to point out?
Well, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the irony of Stacey Dash in real life versus Stacey Dash in the movie, and her personality, which very much is ironically enough another token, right? But without getting overly involved in politics, Stacey's real life personality being the token Black Republican, right? And the controversies that has caused her in her working life, especially in the film industry, and then her attempt to come back home this past year by making apologies. And
she did.
Yeah, girl, you didn't see all that?
I forgive you, Stacy. I forgive you, Stacy. Come home, Stacy.
She came out on all these stations, all these new stations, and apologized for being so angry and hateful and and saying a lot of stuff she said over the past, like since 2012, basically saying she was in an angry place, and that she when you're that kind of angry, she said she lived her life being angry, which is what she was on Fox News, and she was an angry conservative Black woman. That was her role, and that like at her time in life, that's who she was. But she realized in 2016 that the anger was unsustainable, and that it'll ultimately destroy you. And
Come
she made a
on,
lot of
Stacy.
mistakes because of that anger.
Come on.
Yeah, Black Twitter was Black Twitter definitely had some things to say.
I don't care. I love you, Stacey. I forgive you, and I believe in forgiveness because all of us go through some shit, and that's real. You know, come home. The more come home, the more y'all that can come home, the better. Come back. I mean, I don't care about anyone else. I care about Stacey because she's a national treasure. She's a Black national. She's not even a Black national treasure. She's a national treasure when it comes to the film industry. To me, Clueless is a gem and will always be a gem and be that chick. So I forgive you. I love you. Come back. I forgive you. That's all I needed. Donna loves you.
Stacey, she said, "Come back. Come back
here.
to the barbecue."
Listen, she's here at mine. I don't care. I don't care what Black Twitter says. I forgive you, Stacey. I love you. I love Stacey Dash. Man. I love Stacey Dash, and she looks fine as hell in that Kanye West video. Maybe Kanye will come back.
All falls down. Yeah. That was
Is that chick? So Clueless is amazing. I wish there was more teen movies with like more with a Black cast. Like, I mean, there is. I guess you look at your like The Wood or but there's not a lot. Not with
there's like of this quality and style and level, right?
Yeah.
Because I was gonna look some up. There's a lot of Black teen movies. It's whether or not they're funny and like meaningful and have like and not like a lot of the cheap ones will be. God dog it. That's what
Have you seen the Inkwell? Kind of the Inkwell is one that's like an innocent like, but it's not like this. Like I feel like in Clueless, like their Blackness was there, but their Blackness wasn't like does I don't think Inkwell has any racial themes. I mean, it's obvious that the Inkwell is like a place where like Black people would go to the Hamptons, I believe. I'm destroying what the Inkwell is, but I remember seeing that as like a Black teen movie. But I can't think of one with girls.
I'm looking at a list right now of 7 movies that shaped the author as a Black American girl. Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't say that falls in line with it. That's
no for this. No, Aquila and the Bee, which isn't quite the same either. Our Song, which I totally forgot about.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, and they even say if you never heard of it, you're not alone. Not alone. East Bayou, which is definitely not the same. Pariah, which is not the same.
But not the same.
Yeah.
All these Crooklyn, are movies, but not the same.
Yeah.
Crooklyn is, but it's not the same.
One, but not the same.
It's like a Black high school, innocent high school movie with like Black girls as the lead, and it's more than one. Like I don't know if there is.
Yeah, just a Black comedy team. Like I know they're out there because Black folks love making corny, low budget movies that are just fun.
Like making corny.
What?
Movies, not Black folks like making corny, low budget movies.
You know that what we do. It'll start some rapper that's like, well known enough. But we love making these low budget ass comedy movies with a couple of them have comedians that like I just saw one with Kevin Hart. I can't remember, and I really wanted to finish it, but it was a corny movie. But of course Kevin Hart was good, and it had but it was.
I've seen them for men, right? Like the Wood would be a male one. I think Inkwell is.
I don't even know what Inkwell is.
Inkwell has Lorenz Tate in it. Shout out to his finest. Inkwell also has Smith.
Shout out. Lorenz doesn't age either, man. Lorenz still looks the same.
Black
he's got to be like
something. Also, Jada Pinkett Smith is in that. Shout out to her finest.
In Inkwell?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't remember.
She's the love interest in it. the inkwell. And he goes, I believe it's like he goes, Lorenz Tate is a quiet 16-year-old still recovering from the trauma of accidentally burning his own house down. Oh wow, I forgot about that. He goes to Martha's Vineyard, upper class Black community that centers on, it's like a whole thing, and he meets friends there. Like
I don't remember that. I
you should
missed
watch
that
it.
one.
It's kind of carefree, I remember, but he does have like this trauma he's like dealing with, so it's a little dark, but not really. I mean, he burned down a house, he didn't burn down people.
Okay.
So it's not too bad, but I think that's pretty much it.
I know there's probably gonna be some listeners or viewers that have some better ideas, so please let us know if you do, because I know they're out there. I just can't think of any off the top of my head.
I have to research. But other than that, shout out to Amy Heckling for doing great work, for giving her characters roles, parts, nuance. Every character in that film has nuance, is about more than just a singular thing. Her Asian characters could have had more to them, obviously. There could have been more diversity in the main cast. But when they did have their quote unquote token characters up front, they weren't just like used to be like, they weren't even like Dionne wasn't even when Dionne helped share with those teachers, her role in that wasn't even like a big stress to her. Like she just was kind of a part of it, but it wasn't like, Dionne, I need you to go and climb through this tunnel and do, like, she wasn't going through hoops and ladders for her white friend. She was just like a friend, and you did like the friend minimum. Like she didn't wear her out. Like she didn't wear out her Black characters. Like
no.
I mean, jumping hoops.
Even the coach was like, all right, Dionne, you're up next. She's like, my tennis instructor wrote me a note because he doesn't want me to do anything that would undo his teaching. Coach was like, okay, fine.
Yeah. So I love this film. As always, follow us. We're on the YouTube. I think we're on the Spotify. We're definitely on the Instagram. Blacks, Tokens, and Film. Dang it, I did it wrong.
Token, Blacks, and Cinema.
Oh my gosh. Act like I've been here before.
Please
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm running on a little bit of fumes. A little fumy. But you know where to find us.
iTunes, Insta, YouTube.
Come on.
I think Spotify and Google Podcasts. But if not, let us know.
Let us know if not. If you're listening to this, come check out the visuals in IGTV. You'll just see our faces, our reactions. My grandmother's art. Steven's art is a lot better. I know that's Sade behind your head, but who's that?
That one's definitely Sade. Shout out to Sade, who talk about love of my life.
Real one.
That is just this dope artist, this dope Black artist I found online.
I love it. So you can check us out there. Other than that, we'll be back with a new movie. As always, if you have any suggestions, let us know, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Steven, they don't see you if you don't speak.
Bye. Oh, bye.
There you go. Now they saw you. Bye.
You sound like my mama now.